wants you, if you've been discouraged, if you've been disappointed, if you've been disillusioned, He wants you to get your vision back. Don't think that God is not interested or God can't do anything, that it's so bad, and things are gotten to such a state that God can't intervene, that God can't move, that God's power is ineffective. I tell you, God is always willing.
To receive your free printed copy of our new booklet, call us at 918-878-8000.
I believe we're going to see God reach people. We're going to see people wake up because they're so desperate. They're being really taken advantage of, controlled, manipulated, and eventually people, even in their worst state, some people are going to say, I want to find another solution. Everything I've tried didn't, everything I've thought was going to help didn't help. Every election made things worse. What else is there? And of course, there's the gospel of Jesus Christ. There's going to be an opportunity for us to do something amazing. And let me just read it again, because I believe this is a word from God to us today. Look among the nations and watch. Be utterly astounded. I will work a work in your days which you would not believe, though it were told you. And there have been times throughout history, and I've studied the different revivals and awakenings that the world has seen. And the conditions before that time are very, very dark. In every case, it got bad. So we finally have fulfilled all the qualifications necessary to have a great awakening, because there's just, people are starting to see there's just no hope in anything else. So in that process, don't you get eaten up with that doubt and hopelessness. You do have hope. We have a God in heaven, and He wants us to continue to run the race that's set before us. He wants you, if you've been discouraged, if you've been disappointed, if you've been disillusioned, He wants you to get your vision back. And the first step here is don't give up on God. Don't think that God is not interested or God can't do anything, that it's so bad, and things are gotten to such a state that God can't intervene, that God can't move, that God's power is ineffective. I tell you, God is always willing. And when society, when churches, when people give Him the opportunity, open their hearts, when they give Him any opening, He's able to rush in and fill the void. And that kind of thing's not over yet. Don't give up on your nation. Don't give up on your children. Don't give up on your friends and loved ones. And don't give up on God. God is still working in our behalf. And just because He hasn't done it right yet, or things haven't happened yet, or things keep going the wrong direction, doesn't mean that it won't happen. God doesn't always tell us what's going on at the moment. He doesn't show us behind the scenes. And I think the enemy has more of an idea sometimes than we do. I know, there have been times in my life where it seemed like all of hell was arrayed against me. And I'm like, why? I'm not doing anything. I don't have anything going on. I'm not a threat. And yet the enemy knows more about our future in the spirit sometimes than we do. But I tell you one thing, as God fulfills the promises He's made to me and to my wife and to other people that we know, the world's going to feel the impact. The world's going to feel the effects. But in the meantime, we can't give up hope. You cannot be discouraged and give in to depression and discouragement. That is a lie from the enemy. So, number one, don't give up on God. Let me just give you this. I've talked about this before, and I said, there's old math and there's new math. But let me just say it this way. There's natural math, and then there's supernatural math. And I'm going to use this illustration. One of my favorite examples in the Bible is when in Luke chapter 8, it happened on a certain day when He got into a boat with His disciples, and He said to them, let's cross over to the other side of the lake. And they launched out, and you know what happened, and I get a lot of sermons out of this little adventure they went on. But they've sailed into a storm. and the boat was really in danger. Some of these guys grew up in boats on the water, so they knew a dangerous storm when they saw one. And they got to such a point of discouragement and hopelessness that they woke up Jesus and they literally said, we're all going to die. and if you've ever been in a tough situation, maybe you've said that. Maybe you've watched your last news broadcast and said, this is it. It's over. We're all going to die. Because those disciples, especially the fishermen, knew that in the natural math, this storm plus this boat equals certain death. This boat cannot survive in this storm. It was already taken on water. It's going down. They understood natural math. But God said to, and this is how God interjected himself into the equation when Habakkuk made his pitiful plea and told God, here's what all's going wrong. God said, watch. Look among the nations and be astounded. I will work a work in your... What God's saying is you forgot to include me in this equation. You left me out. You said the politics, the justice, the economy, the world opinion, everything is against, it's all terrible, everybody's and evil is in, but you forgot to add me in. And that's what happened to the disciples. They knew that storm plus that boat equaled death. But what they didn't add in, the new math says, the supernatural math is, this storm plus this boat plus God equals victory. And I mean, that's what a difference God makes when you put him in the equation.
I got Greg Fritz's Good News book and Living with No Regrets. When I looked at this, I thought, God wants us to know how much he loves us. He wants to show us his love constantly. And what better news is that?
You can have joy unspeakable and full of glory.
And when I heard Mr. Fritz talk, it was like he was talking to me. I just knew there was stuff that the Lord wanted me to let go of and deal with.
We need to find new ways to get the Word into our life. We ought to find ways to put it on our devices. We need to read it. We need to keep it before our eyes. We need to meditate on it. These things are the things that will change your life.
GregFritz.org offers many free resources on a variety of topics, such as how to let go of your past, live worry-free, hear God's voice clearly, and receive God's best in your life. Visit GregFritz.org to download free teachings that will change your life today.